good morning, time to go. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. We are all looking for adventure. We are all
Welcome back to the 3x5 Live
podcast.
On this podcast that we do every other week now.
We just started this. We're just trying something new where we're going to do this every other week.
Yes.
With the holidays and the busyness of the year, and we just thought maybe less is more sometimes, and so we're going to try this out.
Well, I think we all go through seasons of our life, and we know getting one out every week recently has been a stressor. And Jessie and I really love doing this podcast. We want to keep it going, but it's been difficult to get one out every week.
Yeah,
it has.
You've been traveling a ton.
I have been traveling a ton.
Yeah, but
So
we're figuring it out.
we are figuring it out. But we talk about mindfulness, productivity, self-help, development. Anything else to add in there, Jessie?
Wellness, well-being, self-care, all the things.
And so last week we talked about the power of choice.
Mm-hmm.
And this week we're going to talk about confidence. Actually, we heard this term at church recently.
Mm-hmm.
We have found we've been on a little search for a church home.
We have
For many years, and we found a great storyteller, pastor, I guess you could call him, that we've been enjoying going and listening to every week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So we're all on our own spiritual paths, but that's just one that we are on, trying to learn more and be part of that community. But he used a word, spiritual confidence, that really started getting my wheels turning. And we all have we work on our self-confidence. You hear the word self-confidence, you go to any like Barnes and Noble, there's all these, self-development books that are talking about, building your self-confidence. And that's something that I've worked on. And it's been a real path for me because I've mentioned this so many times on the show that I grew up with little confidence in myself. And one of the things that really, I think, ignited some of my internal confidence was the power of doing difficult things, power of building the grit muscle. And my outlet for that was, racing ultramarathon races, along with, building some businesses and whatnot. But through that evolution of creating self-confidence, in the sermon, the pastor was basically saying, hey, what's the next level of self-confidence? And that's where spiritual confidence came in. And I just chewed on that for a while. And for some reason, it really hit home. And you think about the Martin Luther Kings of the world, the Mother Theresas, the Gandhis, and the adversity, the imprisonment, the death threats that they experienced throughout their life. I think at some point, and this is just me pontificating, this is just my opinion, your self-confidence degrades. You start questioning yourself. Your internal belief system starts to maybe come unhinged a little. And they had the ability to tap into a spiritual confidence. And again, this is just, my opinion, that I think that they had such a strong spiritual confidence that it allowed them to really level up and rise above the adversities they were being faced with.
Absolutely. And when we say spiritual confidence, like something we want to put a pin in for sure is that this looks different for everybody. I mean, just talked about, we've been on a journey for spirituality for quite some time. I mean, being connected to something larger than yourself, whether that be nature or the universe or whatever that is. But the idea that when you can look outward and share the burden or the weight on something outside of yourself, that sometimes it feels like your backpack full of bricks gets a little bit lighter. But one of the pieces that really stuck to me about this sermon, and Bryan and I talked about it afterwards, was he was explaining a story in the Bible about Paul, who was imprisoned, and how he had an opportunity to talk with with guards who were chained to him as a punishment. And instead of looking at that as this horrible, tragic moment in his life, he used it as an opportunity. And so for me, when he talked about spiritual confidence, I think an amazing part of that, and all of the people you just mentioned, like Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, that adversity they looked at that adversity as an opportunity. And so just like Paul used that opportunity to talk with these soldiers who were chained to him for days at a time as punishment, he used it as opportunities to ask about the soldiers and tell them about, his beliefs and tell stories and connect with these people. And so that process of looking at an adversity as an opportunity and connecting with that spiritual confidence, I think that is spiritual confidence in action. Because you want to seek this confidence. And when you have it, you kind of turn into this instrument of being able to help other people find their confidence. So using it as a way to serve others. So self-confidence is an internal, and that's so, so important. But like Bryan said, the next level of that is that looking outward. This is the same idea of like when we use our gifts, right? So we're talking about passion. You become the best version of self, so then you can pour outwards into others. And I think that spiritual confidence is a invitation to do just that.
Yeah. And so it's another way just to look at your spiritual practice of like, what is this serving me? Am I able to tap into something deeper than myself that will elevate me in the battles that we're all going to face in life? And it spoke this message, this thought really spoke to both of us. And, I think it's for everybody, that's a lifelong journey of developing that spiritual confidence. That's not something that comes overnight or in a year. I mean, it's something that you constantly work on to get to that level of, Gandhi, Mother Theresa, those type of people. I mean, that's
being an instrument of service.
Yes, exactly. So that's what we wanted to chat about this week, something to chew on for a little bit. Hopefully that message resonated with you.
And using this, I hope that you can use this as a tool for when your self-confidence is being shaken and something does hit you in a moment where you're struggling with that, to be able to think about a bigger picture or a bigger purpose to a situation, and then maybe look for those threads that you can pull on that then can turn into opportunities for something positive or some growth edge or some deep, meaningful learning that you could get out of that situation.
Yeah. And I guess when we talk in 2 weeks, we're going to be coming up on some Turkey Day, Thanksgiving.
Yes, we will.
You know what? I heard a stat recently. I was listening to a podcast that in general, every year through the holiday season, people might put on 5-10 pounds, but they keep one of those pounds that they never lose. So over like 10 years of holiday seasons, then, they gain 10 pounds. Because every year they like hold on to that pound.
I feel like this is a very generalized statement. You can't say people.
It is. There's averages out there.
Okay.
Averages out there.
So don't gain that pound.
Yeah.
Guys.
So this is, we're just going into that season. So it's just, I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
discouraging, but interesting.
No cookies for you.
No.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
Have a great week. Take care.
We are all